let's get started. So, good evening and welcome you all to this 1 hour webinar on the Lean A3 problem solving method. So, first of all, I would like to thank all of you for joining this session. And I sincerely hope that all of you will have a wonderful learning experience in the next 1 hour. So, today's agenda, so I'm going to give a small introduction about myself and my company. Then we are going to touch upon what is problem solving. So what are the different problem solving methodologies which are available? So what are we'll also learn about some of the problem solving tools. And we will also learn about a bit of lean, what is the concept of lean, and the 8 types of waste, and the most commonly used lean tools. And then we will also solve like how the problem can be solved by using this A3 problem solving method. Yes, Tirupati? Any questions? Okay. So first I'll start with a small introduction about our company. So our company is ICEQBS. So it's an international center for excellence in quality and business solutions. So this company was started in the year 2015, and it is a Chennai-based organization. And we are offering our expertise lies in the customized content development, training, and implementation support for lean management and Lean Six Sigma and project management. And our efforts are always ROI focused, return of investment focused, whether it is individual professionals who are coming to us for training to come up quickly in their career layer, or whether we are working for the organizations in the cost reduction projects. So our efforts will be always focused on giving the return of investment to our customers. So
good morning, sir. Good evening, sir.
Sorry. So if you are investing maybe 10,000 rupees on us, then this 10,000 rupees within 3 to 6 months you will be able to recover. So that is a guarantee we can give. So I will give a small introduction about myself. My name is Annamlai. I am basically a BTech engineer from IIT Varanasi, Banaras Indian University, and I passed out in the year 1985. And for 30 years, I was working for EAD Pari India, Progappa Group, and the Siemens, both in manufacturing and IT service company, both in production and the quality functions. And with regards to my professional qualification, so I got certified as a Six Sigma Black Belt in the year 2004 by the RG Consultants, Malaysia. So almost 22 years back. And I was certified as a Master Black Belt from the prestigious Indian Statistical Institute, Chennai, in the year 2013. And I'm also a certified PMP, Project Management Professional. So I have expertise both in the operational excellence as well as the project management excellence. And I also have hands-on experience in implementing the concepts of Six Sigma and project management in the organizations. So these are some of our clients, both for training and the consulting. So you can see that the organizations are cutting across the domains: manufacturing, IT service, healthcare services, etc. So some of the prominent customers include the Asian Paints in their Cuddalore plant, Standard Chartered Bank, Tata Communications, Hyundai Motors, Accenture. Lennox is actually a US-based HVAC company, air conditioners, L&T Walls, Mahindra Finance. Then I'm also a visiting professor for the Goa Institute of Management for their postgraduate diploma management students. And both the university, also I am a visiting professor. And I also taken training for Pfizer. And across the globe, I have taken training for the Horizon Fisheries in Maldives, Technobrain in Kenya, and the Abraj Energy Services. I was doing the training and consultancy based on Oman. So these are some of our major customers. And with Amazon, actually, I have worked with them for almost 5 years. So they had a very good metric management system but they didn't have any infrastructure for Six Sigma. So in the first year, we trained 8 green belts and we guided them to successfully complete the project. And then in the second year, we just took up 30 projects, green belt projects. And from the initial date, so they just mentored and grouped the 30 green belt projects for the second year. And at the end of the second year, again, the management asked me to select a person who will be able to drive the Six Sigma initiative within Amazon. And I just pointed out a particular person. Then he was removed from his day-to-day activities, responsibilities, and he was put responsible only for the setting up the infrastructure for Six Sigma. Then I handholded him for the next 3 years and for setting up a mechanism for evaluating the project, selecting the projects, then doing the phase gate reviews after the each phase, and then approving the closure of the projects and so on. And after 5 years, I came out of Amazon. So that was my experience with the Amazon. Okay. So I am just going to conduct this session with in order to be more interactive. So some polls will be there and some quizzes will be there. So polls will be just to know about more about you in terms of your existing knowledge in process improvement concepts and tools, and how you are feeling or how you are experienced in the process improvement. And the quizzes will be based upon whatever we are going to cover today. So I request you to just type the answers in the chat box so that I'll be able to get a clear idea about how you are feeling and what is your experience level, right? Okay, so first we'll take the quiz, poll number 1. So type your answer. So you can only one answer, please, for this question. So which best describes you right now? So you are new to process improvement, curious about lean management. So you are new to process improvement. So you don't know anything about lean management. Lean management, you want to learn about it. Second one, B is practicing professional, exploring the formal certification. So already practicing Lean or Six Sigma, just you want to get formal certification. C option is you are a team leader and a manager wanting to drive some improvement projects, process improvement project. And D is already implementing Lean and Six Sigma, right? Okay. So just type A, B, C, D, only one answer. Just you can type it in the chat box. Okay. More answers, please. I'm seeing only 1/3 of the people have really answered. So I can see most of the people are A. That means they are curious, and few people are from they want to drive the improvement projects, right? Okay. Okay. So now let us learn something about the basics of problem solving. So again, what is a problem? What is problem solving? And we'll be learning about some structured method approaches for problem solving. So if I say, what is a problem? Definition of a problem. So a problem is an obstacle which makes it difficult to achieve a desired goal, objective or purpose, a situation or issue that is yet unresolved. So I think as a working professionals, all of us are given some targets, that is KPIs, key performance indicators, in terms of achieving the required productivity or the percentage yield or the percentage on-time delivery or reducing the number of customer complaints and so on, or reducing the breakdown time. So depending upon the function where you are working, then we are given some targets, KPIs. And we are under tremendous pressure from our senior management to achieve those targets. But again, as and when we are coming and working, entering the plant in the morning, then immediately we find that there are some problems which are waiting for us. Maybe there was a machine breakdown or there is a process problem. All the items which are coming out of the process are being scrapped. Yield is very low, or maybe there is a productivity issue. So or is some customer is shouting because of some issues with the products what you deliver. So the entire day we just do a firefighting, and then we don't have time to do whatever we plan to do, right? So this is what happens to many of the professionals. So does it happen to you? Can you just type yes or no? So are you always in a firefighting mode? Yes or no? Can you type it in the chat box? Yes. Yes, Akash Lanka, you will get a certificate for this training. Okay. So all of us are having some problems, right? So problem is gap in performance, the difference between where you are and where you want to be. Whatever you want to achieve and what you are achieving, there is a gap. This gap we call it a problem. So any recurring issue, deviation from standard or customer complaint, or opportunity to improve. Every problem is a chance to make processes better and deliver more value. So the gap between the what we want to achieve and what we are achieving, that is what we call as a problem. Okay. Again, poll 2. So again, you can just maybe for this you can answer multiple answers you can give. So typical problems what you face at your work. So which is the most prominent problem for you? So option A is repeated defects or quality issues. B is process delays, waiting time and bottlenecks, more of a productivity issue. Third one is about poor communication and unclear ownership. And D is lack of data to make informed decision. So just to type, maybe you can give multiple answers also. According to you, which one is actually a most bothering problem for you? So A, B, A. So most of them are A, repeated defects or quality issues. B, okay, A, C, B, D, A, B, C. Okay. So all these problems are typical problems in whether you are working in a manufacturing setup or a IT service, software development, or whether you are working in production or quality or maintenance. So these are the most commonly occurring problems, and we always face these type of problems. So whenever you want to solve a problem, so there is a 4-step structured approach is that. So many times whenever a problem comes, then we just normally do not quantify the problem. We always say that our rejection rate is very high, or our on-time delivery is very poor, or the number of customer complaints are very high, or something like that. So normally we don't define the problem, and we don't quantify the problem. So whenever there's a firefighting situation is there, immediately we just catch hold of some peers and our own department and the supporting departments like maintenance or quality. Then with whatever the half-baked data, whatever we have, we try to analyze what are the possible causes. And then we just do a small brainstorming session to find out what are the immediate actions we can take. And then we take the action. And maybe within 1 week or 10 days, it seems that the problem has been solved. But again, after 2-3 months, again, the same problem will come and bother us because we have not analyzed the root causes for the problem and we have not taken the permanent solution. So in order to avoid such situation, we should have a structured problem solving approach, 4-step approach. So the first step is define the problem. So we'll have to clearly articulate the problem. So we'll have to clearly define what is the problem. So instead of saying that we are getting high scrap rate, so we'll have to say that we are getting 10% of our products we are getting at a scrap, mainly because of the crack which is found in the outer edge of the component, right? So we should be able to clearly define what is the problem we are having, and we should quantify what is the current status. So once you define the problem, then you define what is the target you want to achieve. So currently our defect rate is 10%, and our target is to reduce it to 8%. So once you clearly define the problem, quantify the problem, and fix the target, then you will have to identify the root causes. What are the root causes which are creating these problems? So again, we are going to learn some of the most commonly used tools for the root cause analysis, like the 5-way analysis, Pareto chart, fishbone diagram. So like that, with that the help of those tools, we'll be able to just identify those root causes. So once you have identified the root causes, then we can just do again a brainstorming session to just list down what are all the possible solutions we can take. And then we just implement the solution and then check whether the real whatever we target we wanted to achieve, whether that has been achieved or not. If it is achieved, then we can just see like whether we can just take these solutions to other machines, similar machines, or other similar processes, etc. And if you are not able to achieve the target, then we will have to see what other improvement we will have to do so that we'll be able to achieve the target. So this is what we call it as a structured 4-step problem solving method. Define the problem, find the root causes, then implement an action plan, and then check and improve the results. So this is the 4-step process for structured problem solving. Okay. So when we have a problem and we want to solve a problem, there are different approaches are there. So that's what I want to explain now. So we call this a problem solving tree. So imagine that you are entering a orchard having a lot of mango trees, and your aim is to taste the sweetest of the mangoes. So as when you are entering the orchard, you are finding that already there are some fruits, a lot of fruits are already fallen. The only effort what you will have to take is to bend down and then pick those fruits and eat it. So similarly, as and when you are entering your workplace, you will find that there are some problems which are very easily you can just notice, and then the for detecting the problem, finding the problem is also very easy. It is a very obvious problem, and the solutions are also obvious. So every day morning, you make a point to just walk through the floor workplace for 15 minutes to 30 minutes, right from the raw material storage up to the finished goods storage. Then just note down, go with some 2-3 of your people, your subordinate, and then make a list of what are the problems. Maybe in the raw material storage, maybe some bags are there which are already torn and some raw materials are leaking. And in the workplace, some air is leaking or material is leaking, machine is under breakdown, or people are doing some new work, people are idling. So these are some of the wastage what you can see. Just note down all those things, and then you just do a brainstorming session, and you will be able to find the solution and implement it. So for detecting the problem and for finding the root causes, you don't have to take much effort, but you'll be able to get more benefit by doing this. So we call this just do it. So we also call this approach as a Gemba approach. Gemba means workplace. So you just visit your workplace on a daily basis with the open mindset, and then try to identify the problems, and then you'll be able to identify and solve immediately some problems. That is a just do it. The other one is about quick wins. We also call this a low-hanging fruits. So as you are entering the orchard, you will find that already there are some fruits which are at the low-hanging branches of the trees. The only effort what you'll have to take is to just stretch yourself a bit, and then you can just pluck those fruits and you'll be able to eat it. So similarly, in your process, there are some problems are there which are very easy to solve. Only thing is you'll have to just use some simple tools like the fishbone diagram or a Pareto chart or a YY analysis and all. By using those tools, you'll be able to just again following that 4-step problem solving approach, and using these tools, you'll be able to get more benefits. So that's what we call the quick wins or the low hanging fruits. So this just do it and low hanging fruits, or these two methodologies approaches are used for solving low complexity problems. So for the working professionals like you, it is very easy. Like as I told you, only thing is you should have that open mindset. So whenever you see that there is something is not right, then you should have a practice of noting down those issues, and then taking some conscious action on that. Then the lean and the AD report, these are the two approaches which are used for solving medium complexity problems. So lean is a methodology for identifying and eliminating waste in the process, and we are going to learn about that in depth in the coming few minutes. And the 8D is actually a problem solving method, so mainly used for solving repeated problems. So if, for example, you are making some automobile components or electronic components, and in a particular place, you are always getting a small crack, and that too only in 2% of whatever you are delivering to the customer. So that means this problem is existing for the last 3 to 6 months. Repeatedly it is coming, and we are unable to find a permanent solution for the problem. So this type of repeated problems we will be able to solve by using this approach. So lean and AD, they are used for solving the medium complexity problems, and the DMAIC and we call this a high hanging fruits for solving the complex problems. So that's what we call the Six Sigma. The Six Sigma is a approach methodology by which you will be able to solve the complex technical issues, right? So depending upon the complexity of the problem, we should be able to um, select any of those approaches. So today, whatever we are going to cover is more related to the solving the low complexity problems like the quick wins and a bit about lean management, right? So we are not going to talk about those high hanging fruits. Okay. So whether it is lean or Six Sigma or TQM, TPM or ISO 9000, so the basic concept for the improvement is PDCA, that is Plan, Do, Check, Act. So this concept was first given by a US quality expert, and his name was Edward Deming. And this is mainly used for continuous improvement. Continuous improvement. So according to this approach, so whenever you have a problem, then you just as I was telling you, you just plan. So try to define the problem, try to quantify the problem, try to fix the target, and then try to do a brainstorming session to find out the root causes and then make an action plan. So that's what is the planning. So once you have done the planning, then what are the actions you have planned, then you just implement it in the do stage. And then after giving some adequate time, maybe for around 4 to 6 weeks for the improved action to settle, again, you just check whether the expected or the targeted improvement has been achieved or not. So if it is achieved, then you can just see how the improvement can be taken to the other machines or the other places. And if it is not, then what else needs to be done in order to achieve the target? So you check whether you have achieved the target or not, and then based upon that, you can act it. So this is the 4-step process, PDCA. So this is what is actually the basic concept for the modern day, all the process improvement methodologies. So now we are going to learn about some of the most commonly used quality tools, which will be used for your identifying the problems or prioritizing the problem. So the first one is a Pareto chart or a Pareto diagram. We also call this as a 80-20 rule. So this particular concept was first given by Wilfredo Pareto. The name was also derived from him. So Wilfredo Pareto, he was an Italian economist who was doing a research on how the wealth of Italy was distributed among the Italians. And then he found that 80% of Italy's wealth was distributed only among 20% of the Italians. That means the wealth distribution was not even. Only a very few percentage of the Italians, they were owning a very huge percentage of Italy's wealth. So this particular concept is also called as the 80-20 rule. And this was first applied for problem solving by Ishikawa. So Ishikawa was a Japanese quality guru. And then the same concept, he just put it in a different word. And then he told that 80% of the impact of the problem, 80% of the impact of the problem are caused by only 20% of the causes. So if you are able to find out those 20% of the causes and take action, then 80% of the problem is going to be solved. So that's what is the Pareto diagram. So again, I'll just give an example. Like for example, if you assume that you are working for a car service manufacturing company, car servicing company. So every day you are just getting some 200 cars for the after sales service, maybe the paid service or the free service. And you are finding that there's a lot of customer complaint is there. So again, your management wants you to just take up a project to reduce the number of customer complaints you are getting. So again, you just have the data for the last 3 months, around 300 complaints have been received. Then you just find out what are the different causes. So maybe there are 10 different causes for which the customers are complaining. Like the vehicles are not cleaned properly, or the basic issue was not resolved, or after doing the service again, some new issues are popping up, or there is a delay in delivery, etc. So these are some of the possible reasons. 10 possible reasons are there. So according to the, and then around 300 customer complaints are there. And there are some 10 causes are there, 10 possible causes are there. And according to the Pareto chart, 80% of the impact of the problem, that is 80% of 300. So that is equal to 240 complaints are caused by only by 20% of the causes. So that is 20% of 10 causes. That is equal to 2 causes. So out of these 10 causes for which the customers are complaining, only 2 causes are going to contribute to 80% of the total number of complaints. So if you are going to attend only to these two, then 80% of the problem is going to be resolved. So for example, the vehicle not cleaned properly and the issue not resolved. These two problems, if you are going to focus and then take action to resolve, then 80% of the problem is going to be solved. So the Pareto chart will help you to prioritize the root causes for immediate action. So prioritize is the vital few or table. A lot of reasons may be there for the problem, but we are going to just find out which are the critical or the very vital root causes which are contributing to the problem, so that we'll be able to take action. So this is a very useful tool for people, irrespective of whether you are working in any domain. The second tool, which is used for the identifying the root causes, is about the fishbone diagram. We also call this as a cause and effect diagram. Cause and effect diagram. We also call this as a Ishikawa diagram, because Ishikawa, the Japanese quality guru, he was the first one who just told that this particular tool can be used for identifying the root causes for the problem. We also call this, it started as a 4M analysis, and then it became 5M, and currently we call this a 6M analysis. So the main purpose of doing this fishbone diagram is to get an exhaustive list of potential root causes for the problem. So to get a full list of all the potential root causes for the problem, categorized into 6 buckets. So what are the man-related issues? What are the machine-related problems? What are the metal-related issues, like that? So we are going to categorize the potential root causes into 6 categories. So again, an example is given here for the car service. So again, assume that the customer is complaining about a delay in getting the service in car service. So again, you just do a brainstorming session. So in a fishbone diagram, normally around 8 to 12 people from different departments at different level, they will assemble in front of a moderator, and the moderator will first set the context, and then he will say that this is what is the problem for which we have assembled to find the root causes. And then he will ask the people to give their ideas. And then he will go to the whiteboard, and then he will just prepare empty template like this. And then he will ask the people to give their ideas. So for the first 10 minutes, the rate at which the ideas are going to come will be very slow, because people will be thinking. But from 10 minutes to maybe around 40 minutes, the rate at which the ideas are going to come will be quite fast, because the idea from one person will trigger the mind of another person, and then he will give his ideas. So like that, more number of ideas will come. So the moderator will keep on motivating the people to give more and more ideas. And maybe after 50 to 60 minutes, again, the rate at which the ideas are coming will again drop down substantially. Then at the proper moment, the moderator will just stop the brainstorming session. And whatever the total list of potential root causes, which are categorized into this category, he will give us the output from the team. So the very important thumb rule for the fishbone diagram is none of the ideas should be rejected, and none of the ideas should be discouraged. Because if the assembled members start discouraging or start rejecting the idea, then it will become more of a ego clash and the topic will get diverted. And then there is always a possibility that the argument may also start. So the moderator has to ensure that politely he has to diplomatically he has to handle the situation so that the focus of the team will be to give the more number of ideas, as many number of ideas possible. And then in the later stages of the problem solving methodology, we will be able to prioritize. So that is about the fishbone diagram. The third tool we are going to learn about for the root cause identification is about 5-way analysis. So the concept here is whenever you want to find a solution for the problem or whenever you find the root causes for the problem, just ask the questions why 5 times. Then you will be able to find the root cause. So again, I'll just give an example so that it be easy for you to understand. For example, yesterday I was late to the office by around 1 hour. So I wanted to find the reason for me being late to the office yesterday. So I asked myself the question, why I was late to the office yesterday. The answer was, I got delayed at the time of filling petrol in the petrol station. Why I got delayed at the time of filling petrol? Because I forgot to take my wallet. Why I forgot to take my wallet? Because I was in a hurry when I left home. Why I was in a hurry when I left home? Because I got up late in the morning. Why I got up late in the morning? Because the alarm clock did not ring. Why the alarm clock did not ring? Because one of the spring in the alarm clock was broken. So if I want to find the root cause for me being late to the office yesterday, by asking the question why multiple times, I was able to find that the breakage of the spring was the root cause of the problem. And if I'm going to take action on that, the problem is going to be permanently solved. So we also normally call this a 5-way analysis because by asking the question why 5 times, we'll be able to get the root cause. But we also call this a Y-way analysis because sometimes by asking the question why 3 times, you'll be able to get the root cause. And sometimes it may take maybe 7 or 8 Y's also. So that's why we also call this a Y-way analysis. So a combination of Pareto diagram, fishbone diagram, and the 5-way analysis will help you to exactly find out the root causes for potential root causes for the problem. Okay. So maybe I can give you some 30 seconds. So you can just answer those questions and type. It's only one answer is right. So you can just type the right answers in the chat box. Which tool helps to identify the root cause of a problem by asking why repeatedly? Second question is the Pareto principle said that roughly what percentage of problems come from what percentage of the causes. You can type your answer in the chat box. Okay. 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 Last 10 seconds. Okay. So question answer is the 5-way analysis. The first one, Y-way. Second one is about 80-20 rule. So 80% from 20%, 20 causes, right? Okay. So now that we have learned about some of the commonly used tools for identifying the root causes. So again, the third step is to come to an action plan, right? So prepare an action plan. So for that, we need to again have some understand about some tools. So again, for that only, we are going to learn about lean. So lean is actually a methodology. So it was developed by Toyota. So all of you are aware that the Second World War was fought between 1935 and 1939 to 1945. And the war ended when United States of America, they dropped atom bombs on 2 Japanese cities, Nagasaki and Hiroshima. So after the war, then Japan's economy was totally devastated and they were working very hard to come out of their problems. So the USA government, they sent a lot of experts from the different fields to help the Japanese people to come out of the problem. So the Toyota, who were in the early 19th century, they were into the textile business. And in 1935, they started their automobile division. But immediately the Second World War came and they were not very active. But during the 1950s, they became very active and they were the pioneers for implementing Lean. So Lean is actually a methodology for identifying and eliminating waste in the process. Identify and eliminate waste in the process. So when I want to give a slogan for Lean, then I will say Lean means more with less. That means more output with less inputs. More output with less inputs. So for example, if you are saying that currently your selling price is 100 rupees and your cost price is 90 rupees, then your profit is 10. So you are getting a 10% profit. But if you are going to implement Lean, then you are going to give more value to the customer. So the customers are willing to pay more because you are giving them more features and functions. So he may be willing to pay 110 rupees. And since you are doing it with the reduced resources, with lesser inputs, then your cost base is going to be lower, maybe at 80 rupees. So your profit is going to be 30 rupees. So 3 times there is a improvement in your profitability. So that is the reason why most of the companies, they want to implement Lean, because they'll be, with the minimum effort, they'll be able to get the maximum benefits. So again, there are, since Lean is a methodology for identifying and eliminating waste in the process. So whenever I say waste, then immediately what comes to your mind is that waste means only the scrap, whatever you are doing in the process. But again, that is not the only one waste. There are 8 types of waste is there. So according to the Lean, and that's what we are going to learn today. So these 8 ways can be by remembering the word downtime. But D stands for defects, O stands for overproduction, W stands for waiting, N stands for non-utilized talent, T stands for transportation, I stands for inventory, M stands for motion, and D stands for extra processing. So now we'll be at a very high level, we'll learn about what each of these waste means. So D stands for defects. So whatever the scrap you are doing in the process and whatever your rework you are doing, so we call this a defect. Because by producing some scrap or rework, you are going to add cost and your product is going to be costly and the customer is not willing to pay for that, right? If your competitors are more efficient and then they are producing with a lesser scrap and lesser rework, then obviously they will be able to offer those products at a lesser price. So the customer is actually not willing to pay for your inefficiency. So that's where reducing the defects will be very much helpful for you. The second one is about the overproduction, making more than what is needed. So this is actually a common problem in most of the organizations. Because again, what happens is in whatever the product or service you are making, so it is not that you are going to get a consistent volume of work. Always there will be peaks and troughs, especially from April to June, maybe the first quarter of each organization. So there may be a problem because again, it is not a festival season. So the order input will be very low. So in order to ensure that the machines are not idling and the manpower is not idling, the management may decide that we will invest more on the manpower, more on the material, and then we will process the material again based upon some expected orders. So assuming that certain percentage of the inquiries will be converted into order, or based upon last year, the same time, whatever we have delivered, maybe around 50 or 60%, we will produce and keep it. So that whenever the order comes from the customer, we'll be able to deliver from the finished goods. So that is what is the intention, which is we will be producing without firm order from the customer. But again, that is not advisable. Because again, if the customer is not going to lift the material, then whatever you have produced is going to become a dead stock or a non-moving stock or a slow-moving stock. So in order to avoid overproduction, what you need to do, you need to ensure that you produce the right product. Right product means for which you are having firm order from the customer at the right time So you should always produce only at the time what is required by the customer. You should never produce earlier or later than the customer requirement. You should produce exactly at the right time, and you should produce the right quantity. So you should produce exactly the quantity as required by customer with the right quality. So that's what is about overproduction, and is actually a problem in most of our companies. Third wastage is about waiting, idle time between process steps. For example, assume that in your process you are having a 3-step production process. So the step 1 is producing at the rate of 1,000 every shift, whereas steps 2 is producing only at the rate of 500 per shift. So when both the machines are going to run continuously, then a lot of material is going to get accumulated, and then this waiting time in front of the machine number 2 is going to be very high. And if that process is having some imported raw material requirement or some specialized skilled manpower or some uh, single source raw material or something like that, then you are going to land up in a problem, right? So any time is wasting because of the waiting for the next process. So that is going to be a waste because time is always money. So that is about wastage due to the waiting. Fourth one is about non-utilized talent. So again, if I'll just ask a question to you, you can just type the answer in the chat box. So according to you, what percentage of your capabilities are being utilized by your current organization? So if I ask the question to you, what percentage of your capabilities are being utilized by your current organization? What will be your answer? Can you type your answer in the chat box? So 60 to 65, 40%. Okay. So normally when I conduct these surveys with my students, always I will get around 50 to 60%. So that means only 50 to 60% of the capabilities of the employees are being utilized by the organization. So that means there is an opportunity to improve the efficiency by 40 to 50%. So again, keeping the employees engaged and giving importance to their ideas for the improvement. So that is going to help your organization to utilize the talents of the employees in a right manner. So non-utilized talent is the fourth step, fourth waste. Fifth one is about the transportation, unnecessary amount of material. So this is mainly because of the layout issues. So if the layout is not proper. So for example, initially your capacity requirement was quite small. So whatever the machines you kept, you just kept it according to the process flow, the flow in which the material is going to be processed. But after some time, when you are going to expand your capacity, then you are going to keep the machines only where the place is there. For example, for the first process, when the new machine comes, you have space only here. So you put the machine for the first process here, then the material movement becomes zigzag, and then you are going to spend a lot of power and fuel for transporting the material, and because of the increased handling, so contamination may be there, or breakage of products may be there, or something like that. So a lot of wastage is going to be there. So that's what is the wastage due to the transportation. Sixth one is about inventory. So inventory is you have already consumed the raw material, so you have utilized your machine time, you also utilize your manpower, and all those after investing all those, you have just transferred to the finished goods, but because of some reason you are not able to deliver to the customer. So you have incurred all the cost but you are unable to get the money back from the customer. So in that case, you are going to land up in a very serious cash flow issues. You may not be having enough money to pay salary to the employees or to pay to the suppliers. So that's where inventory is actually the biggest enemy as far as lean is concerned. So your raw material inventory, your work in progress, finished goods inventory and all, you should see how you are going to keep it at the minimum. So that's why if you see the car assembly manufacturers like Maruti, Hyundai, Honda and all, they normally don't keep inventory at their place, right? So for example, if a Maruti, they have a capacity to assemble 1,000 cars every day, then they will just allow the raw materials required for assembling 1,000 cars only in the morning. If the shift starts at 6 o'clock in the morning, then they will allow the material only at 4 o'clock in the morning. then straight away the material will be loaded into the floor. There is no concept of raw material storage or inward inspection. So at the 6 o'clock, people will come and then they will start assembling the car. And at 10 o'clock, at the end of the second shift, the 1,000 cars will be delivered out of the factory. So at the beginning of the day and at the end of the day, there is no inventory as a raw material stage or as a work in progress stage or as a finished goods stage. So if you are going to control the inventory in such a way, then your cash flow is going to be very good, and then you'll be able to invest more and more on your business. So that is about inventory. The seventh one is about motion, unnecessary movement of people. So for example, when an operator is operating a machine, he has to stretch a bit in order to load the machine, load the component, and he has to bend a bit in order to unload the components from the machine, and he has to walk some 50 meters to transfer the material to the storage area. So this bending, stretching, and walking is going to make the man tired too soon, and accordingly, his efficiency is going to be reduced. So again, if you are not going to give some proper working environment to the people, like if the working environment is it is having more heat or more sound or more dust, or people are asked to lift some heavy weights and all. So because of all these extreme working conditions, people are going to get tired too soon, and their efficiency is going to be reduced. So in IT service or software development, the problems like obesity, the neck pain, hand pain, back pain, hand, etc. These are all coming because of the motion related issues. So you need to ensure that the people are adequately, they are not overloaded or underloaded. So they are utilizing their in a proper manner. That is about motion. The last one is about extra processing. That means doing work more than what the customer wants. So again, I'm going to ask a question to you. So there are two definitions for quality. One is meeting the customer requirement, and the second one is exceeding the customer expectation. So according to you, which one is the right definition for quality? Meeting requirements. First one is meeting requirements, customer requirement. And second definition is exceeding the customer expectation. So according to you, which one is the definition for quality? Okay, meeting the customer requirement, right? So sometimes our own management will say that, okay, if just satisfy the customer more, exceed their expectation, so that they'll be very happy and they will just place more orders. But again, that is not the right approach. If the customers are really wanting that feature or function, then they should be willing to pay for that. But if they are not paying for that, that means that is going to be a waste. So that means that is a waste. So you need to ensure that you are just doing only the work as per what you have agreed. So sometimes what happens is maybe there was a major quality issue was there, so which was escalated up to the managing director of the customer company. So in your company, they have taken a decision that they will do the double checking, right? So after the quality inspector has completed the inspection, again the quality supervisor will again do one more checking, and after the double checking only it will be delivered. So this may be maybe practice for one or two lots, but if it's going to become a habit, then that's what we got to say extra processing, doing more than what the customer is not requiring. So we need to identify where these 8 types of waste is there in our processes, and then take action to remove those from our places. Okay. Now again, maybe a small poll. So which actually is going, which waste do you see most often in your workplace? So according to you, which waste is happening more in your workplace? So you can select multiple answers for this. AB, waiting time defect. ABD, waiting defects for production. Non-utilized talent. Okay, waiting defects. Okay. So most of you, I think I think most of the people are talking about B. That is the defects is one of the most commonly. Second one is about waiting and all. Yeah. So these are some of the commonly used problems which we see. So in order to improve, remove those waste, again, we can use some of the lean tools. So we are going to talk about some of the very commonly used lean tools. For example, Kaizen. So Kaizen is actually a lean tool. So that will help you to make some small improvements. So Kaizen is actually a Japanese word. Kai means change and Zen means good. So change for good, that is improvement. So whenever you talk about Kaizen, Kaizen means small improvement. So the idea behind Kaizen is small drops of water makes a big ocean. So small improvements practiced by all the employees working in the organization is going to result in a lot of cost saving. And more than the cost saving, whatever you are going to achieve, again, all the people are going to get an improvement mindset. So they are always going to constantly look for improving their processes so that in the long run, the efficiency will improve, your cost is going to come down, your quality is going to improve, and your delivery time is going to improve. So that's where the Kaizen is implemented. And normally in most of the companies, it is implemented as a suggestion scheme. So whenever an employee is having some suggestions for improvement, then he can just fill up a simple format and then put it in the suggestion box. And then once in a week or once in 2 weeks, the continuous improvement team, they will open the suggestion box. And as a token of appreciation for taking part, then whoever has given that suggestion, they will get a small gift, maybe a small pen or a small clock like that. And then the ideas will be forwarded to the manager for the approval. And once the manager approves, then the employee will be given a go-ahead to improve those improvements. And then after the improvements are implemented, the benefits will be monitored for a period of 6 months to 1 year. And then maybe every month or every quarter. So again, the best Kaizen projects can be just recognized and rewarded. So the managing director can give those rewards in the front of all the employees. So it is not the value of the reward that is very important, but the fact that it is given by the topmost person in the organization in front of all the people, so employees, that is going to be a motivation factor for all the people to take part in the Kaizen event. So that is about Kaizen small improvement. The second lead tool is about Pokayoke. We also call it the error prevention. So again, I'll just give a definition what is Pokayoke. So Pokayoke is actually a low-cost automation, so which is installed in the processes to avoid any manual errors. So that even if someone wants to deliberately make a mistake also, the system will not allow them to make a mistake. So the Pokayoke is actually a foolproof. We are trying to put in a foolproof system in place so that even if someone wants to deliberately make a mistake also, the system will not allow them to make a mistake. So some of the examples I will give so that it will be easy for you to understand. For example, you get into the car and then you forgot to secure the seat belt. After running for a few minutes, again, you will get an alarm indicating that the seat belt is not secured. Until unless you secure the seat belt, the alarm is going to continue. Same thing will happen if you are going to, if you are forgotten to release the handbrake or if one of the door is not closed properly. And again, the microwave oven or the washing machine, the manufacturers know that if someone is going to open it in the running condition, it is going to be injurious to their health. So the design of the machine is done in such a way that as soon as somebody opens the machine when it is in a running condition, automatically the machine will be switched off. So again, you can also would have seen also in the lifts when somebody is putting their hand or entering the lift when the doors are closing, again the doors will automatically close. So these are all some of the examples of Pokayoke. So these are the Pokayoke mechanisms are very useful. So after making the improvement, then you'll have to look for some Pokayoke mechanism in place so that you'll be able to sustain the improvements. It will be more automated. And you'll be able to avoid, minimize the errors. And one other tool which is very important is about the 5S. So the 5S is actually a lead tool that will help you to improve the workplace discipline, workplace organization. So this actually in an organization where you want to implement a Lean or Six Sigma, if you are going to start basically with 5S, then it'll be easy for you to sustain the improvement. Because if by doing some Lean projects or Six Sigma projects, you are able to make some improvement, you are recommending some change condition, but again, the operators are not disciplined enough, so they are following some different ways of working, then you will not be able to sustain the improvement. So that's where the implementation of 5S will be helpful to you. So 5S stands for five Japanese words, starting with S. Seiri, that means sorting. So in your workplace, what is required, you'll have to keep it. What is not required, you'll have to remove from your place, remove the unnecessary item. So this will help you to free up some space so that you will be able to reduce the area of capital expenditure for storing the material. Second one is about setting in order, that is Seiton. So whatever the material you have kept is required, so you'll have to arrange in a systematic manner. So a slogan for Saito can be a place for everything and everything in place. That means whatever the items you are keeping in your floor, for each item, you will have to find a specific place, and that item should always be in that place anytime, every time. So this will help you to reduce the searching time. Third one is about Seizo, shining or cleaning. So you'll have to clean your workplace and machines by just going for some daily maintenance or daily cleaning or daily maintenance, weekly, monthly, and annual cleaning or maintenance, so that your the safety is going to improve, your number of breakdowns is going to come down, and your breakdown time is going to be reduced. So that is about cleaning. Say so. Fourth is about Seiketsu sanitizing. So whatever the work you are going to do, so all the people have to do it in the same way. Even if 10 different operators are doing the same work, all the 10 people should be doing it in the same way. So you just prepare a standard operating procedure, not in a PDF or a Word format, running to some 20 or 10, 20 pages. Because nobody is going to go through the 10 or 20 pages and run the machine like that. So instead of that, you can just take the photographs of do's and don'ts, how the process should be done and how it should be done, and then paste it in front of the machine, so that even if someone doesn't know how to read or write, they will be able to read through see the pictures, and then they will be able to run it in the right manner. So summarizing the work, that is what is the sacred show. Last one is about Shichuke or sustain. So whatever the improvements we have achieved in the first 4 S's, in order to sustain that, maybe some 2-3 actions are needed. One is about the daily visit by the senior management. So the senior management is making a daily visit and giving the feedback about the condition. Then the employees will be motivated to do a good job, sustain the improvement. Second one is about doing the 5S audits. So regular, maybe a fortnightly or a monthly 5S audits can be done, and the scores of the different department can be displayed in the prominent location in the organization, so that the team which has come in the first place, they'll be very happy, proud, and then they will try to again repeat the performance the next time. But the teams which are at the bottom of the table, they will be under a tremendous pressure from the senior management to just improve, and then they will also be working hard. So some sort of a healthy competition will happen, and overall improvement will be there. And last but not least, about the recognition reward. So the best performing individual or best performing the teams can be recognized and rewarded, so that the people will be motivated. So these are some of the most commonly used tools. So whenever you are finding the problems and you are trying to look for solutions, then you can use some of these lean tools for making the improvement. So A3 problem solving is actually a lean tool. So again, it is following the same PDCA cycle, PDCA format. And we call this A3 problem solving because whatever the way it is presented, we can present it in the entire presentation can be done in a single A3 sheet. So that's why it is getting the name. So again, you can see the same structure, whatever I was explaining you. First, you'll have to give the title. So what is the project is about? Then who are the team members? Then what's the background? You can just write some 2-3 lines about the background in which the problem was taken for solving. Then what is the current state? For example, currently the percentage of scrap is at 10%. And this is what is the performance for the last 6 months. Goal is to reduce the percentage defect from maybe 10% to 9% or so. So once you have identified the problem, quantify the problem, and fix the target, then you will have to go for finding the root causes. So again, you can use the Pareto chart or the fishbone diagram or the 5-way analysis, find out the root causes, and then based on the root causes, you'll have to make an action plan. So what is the problem? And in order to solve that particular problem, what are the actions you have to take? Who is going to take that action? And by when they will be completing it, and what is the status? So this action plan can be reviewed maybe every week so that it can be expedited. And then once the action plan is finalized, and then all the actions are implemented, and then the improved process is stabilized, then you can just do a before after comparison. And then you will be able to clearly, visibly, you will be able to clear that some real improvement has been done. Then whatever the improvements has been done, then you can just revise your procedures, SOP, so that all the people will be following the revised process. And then you can also document what are the lessons you have learned. Right. So again, as I told you, this is a very simple mechanism. It's a structured methodology for problem solving. And again, you can implement it in your own department to for example, even 5-10 people are working under you. So you can just learn yourself. So again, this PowerPoint presentation, you will be getting it. So again, you can just take some training to your people, and then you can identify some problems, and then you'll be able to solve those problems, right? So that a continuous improvement mindset will be there within the employees. Okay. So maybe you can also answer this quiz, or maybe you can skip it. So again, just to the end, I will just give you a few this thing about our company. So again, we are conducting a regular, every month we conduct a Lean Six Sigma training program for the green belt and black belt. So it is a live online, interactive, insector-led. So normally one batch per month. So 4 weekends, Saturday and Sunday, 7:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. And we are actually accredited by one of the global, they are the number one for the Lean Six Sigma accreditation, Council for Six Sigma certification. And after attending the training, you will get the digital, the soft copies of the material, case studies, and you will be asked to do a project from your own area of work, so that you'll be able to learn how those tools and concepts can be applied in your work. And this certificate is going to be having a lifetime validity, no need for you to renew it. And again, all the learnings will happen through our mobile app. That's a learning management system. So that you will have a lifetime access to our LMS, so that lifelong learning you will be able to get, and you'll be able to access those information anywhere at any time across the globe. Again, these are some of the testimonials given by our participants. And so that's what I wanted to say. Okay. Okay, with that, we are ending the session. So if any one of you want to leave, you can leave. And if someone of want to ask some questions, then your questions are welcome, right? But suppose if you feel that you don't like, you want to leave, you can always leave. Whatever I wanted to say, that has been completed. Any questions, you can just ask me now. Certificate, we will get maybe by next Monday or Tuesday, we'll get a certificate. So you'll get the recording, the PowerPoint presentation and the certificate. So PowerPoint presentation and the recording, maybe you will get it tomorrow. Certificate you will get latest by Monday.
So, sir, can we get some information on the duration if I have to do black belt or something, right? And also the price.
Yeah. So normally, as I told you, it is about 32 hours is our black belt program. So
Okay.
7:30 p.m. to 11:30 p.m. IST, Saturdays and Sundays. So every week 8 hours. So
Okay.
4 weekends you'll have to spend.
Hmm.
So again, price will, again, there are some different slabs are there. So I will ask my people to get in touch. You can get in touch with your sales people. And then, so next batch, April batch is going to start on, August batch is going to start on 8th of August.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, the certificates you'll get through mail.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay. Any other questions? Okay. So there are,
Thank you, sir.
yeah. Okay. So there are Manjit Pawar. Any question?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
No, sir.
Okay. Okay then. Thanks. So thanks for all of you to be with spending some time, and I hope all of you had a good session, learning session. So if any one of you are interested in our Lean Six Sigma training program, then you are always welcome to it. So normally we always are believe that it is a continuous learning. So once you enter into our training programs, then we will be always in touch with you, so that whenever you need any help in analyzing the data or doing a project, or you want to face some interview questions or something like that, so we'll be traveling with you throughout your career on the continuous improvement journey. Okay. Thank you. Bye. Good night.
Good night, sir.
Good night.
Thank you. Bye.